Welcome, movie fans. Thanks for joining us for episode 135 of Reading Between the Reels, the premier podcast of cinematic brain cramps. If you're a new listener, we're so glad you found us. If you've been enjoying the show, please like, follow, and subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. You can also support the show by posting on your socials and joining our Facebook group. I'm Craig Dickinson, and I'm joined by Corey Heitschmidt and Justin Eldon. We are back together, finally. What's up, fellas?
What is up, Craig? We're back.
It took some doing, but we made it. Justin, how you doing?
Justin, how we doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Pretty good.
Excellent.
Are you going to use a whisper voice today?
Yeah, we're going to bring it down nice and low for this.
Well, we're going to do some ASMR for our podcast.
Headphones on
the side
everybody.
Ignorance is our ammunition today.
Oh. So, other than the movie that we're talking...
You're saying I'm stupid, Corey? What's going on here?
It's a line from the movie.
Did you watch the movie?
We'll get there.
Oh, did I ever?
Okay.
I watched Inception. It's the same thing.
Oh, my goodness. Corey, hey,
yes.
What have you been watching lately?
Listen, I've had some time on my hands with this knee injury, and I had to go back to work this week. I'm bummed because there's so many good shows I could have watched. But I'm going to tell you, I wrapped up the show Timeless, finally.
Mm-hmm. And
I am going to just put this out there. That may have been one of the most, and they did it after the show got canceled. Then they came back into the two episode closure, like finale. It may have been one of the best top 1, 2, or 3 finales of all time that I've seen in any show that I've watched from start to finish. So, I mean, and that may be a podcast episode on its own sometime. Which show had the best series finale overall? Because there's this debacle with Stranger Things right now going on, which
we're going to talk about a little bit. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, people are angry and mad, and I haven't watched an episode of that show, so I have no idea. I feel like it's like Game of Thrones again, all over again. And, but when I watched Timeless, that was a perfect wrap-up episode of all time, which included time travel, which I love, as we talk about today.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, Justin, what have you been watching? I know you've been watching Stranger Things. Do you want to talk about that? Or do you want to talk about something else?
I do watch a lot of Stranger Things. I like Stranger Things. And I went into the finale with really, really low expectations because I watched it a few days after it came out. And I think low expectations are the key to happiness. I've decided. That's what my wife tells me. Just kidding.
I was going to say, that's what mine said, too.
No, really, I thought it was fine. It wasn't great, but it was fine. Probably not my favorite season. Probably maybe my least favorite season, but still pretty good. I mean, you can't ever live up to the hype. I mean, look at Star Wars Episode 9. There's just no way. But yeah, it was fine. I watched Pluribus on Apple TV, which I thought was cool. Maybe way too long, but cool nonetheless. I've actually watched a lot of stuff recently. I've also recently gotten to, I don't know, I was going to ask you guys if you've seen this. On Netflix, it's been around for a while, but Dark, have you guys seen that?
No.
Mm-mm.
No? Oh, it is all in German, but subtitles. And it's a little bit about time travel and stuff too, but it's really, really well done. I'm really liking it.
All right, cool.
Yeah, good stuff. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's like
dark,
full of mystery and intrigue.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look into that. Well, I also watched Stranger Things. I think I mentioned this to you guys. Like, my daughter had not seen any Stranger Things, so we binged Stranger Things like crazy for the last couple months to get ready, and then watched the finale only just a couple days after it had been aired. So we also had to kind of try to stay off social media, but there's still going to be some of that stuff and some of the letdown. There was a lot of letdown that people had, but I thought it was like, I think that did help, Justin, like you said, kind of lowering expectations. Not much of a spoiler to say that like there's a really long epilogue in it, which felt a little off to me, because when I have those, like, it's a 2-hour finale and like the last hour is an epilogue. that I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, which is a little disconcerting. Like, and when's the bad thing going to happen? And then nothing does. So that was a little, I guess, anticlimactic. Just fine.
I feel like the epilogue was like, hey, we're leaving room for lots of spin-offs.
Yeah.
Lots of spin-offs.
Well, and I looked into, I should give credit. I watched the Nerdrotic video about the finale today, and he mentioned multiple times that there is a play that has only been in like London and in New York that is a prequel to Stranger Things and talks a lot about Henry's backstory and actually gets into the stuff that's going on in the cave with the briefcase and all the things.
It diverts a little bit from the briefcase cave stuff, though.
Yeah, but like if you already have that story, why don't you just tell that story? You had time. They could have easily done that throughout the 8 episodes that they had this last season and just seed that in mystery box style and give us the full-on reveal at the end. That would have made a lot more sense to me.
Or spin-off.
That's ridiculous. Stop doing that.
I literally have had this exact same conversation like a decade and a half ago with Lost and the smoke monster and all. I'm just, it's the same thing. Well, this cave and the suitcase and the briefcase, doggone it, makes no sense.
I will take the Lost finale
that all
over this
could have applied
any
to
day.
Lost, yes.
I love Lost unapologetically. I have no problem with the end of
all
Lost.
Stories are recycled unless it's a Christopher Nolan story.
Yeah, we should talk about that. Shall we move on? Let's do
Although
that.
this Christopher Nolan story literally recycles itself. So
it is forwards and backwards. In fact, we've already had this discussion. This is backwards for me.
We did toy with the idea, Justin and I talked about this, of doing this like we did with our Memento episode and just start at the end
and work back
and work our way backwards.
Temporal
like
pincer.
half of us should have been working our way forward through the podcast, and then the other half of us can work backwards through the podcast.
So
we could have done this week as the blue podcast where we're going backwards, and then next week's the red podcast where we go forward.
Yeah,
But then I find out at the end that Corey's my mom.
Oh my gosh.
And Corey and I have been brothers all along.
I know where you're going with that, and I love it. I'm here for it. This guy doesn't like
Tenet.
that you're my mom.
See? He's already shutting us down.
Yeah. Well, I know you downloaded the episode.
I'm a peacock, Craig.
You know we're
Gotta
talking
let me
about
fly.
Tenet.
Okay, sorry.
I'm gonna let you fly. Let's talk about Tenet.
Yes,
Justin, I'm gonna start with you. I'm gonna let you fly on your overall thoughts for the movie Tenet.
I don't want to.
He's getting there.
You see, the first time I saw this movie, I really hated it, and I'm just like, man, Christopher Nolan really likes the smell of his own farts. Like, he is. Somebody needs to like intervene with this guy. And I think the first time I saw it was right after it came out, and I was just mad. I was mad, and I've been mad for a long time. And then the second time I saw it, I was like, Craig, I can't do this alone. I need you to watch this with me. So we watched it together, and I was like, wow, maybe I'm just really, really stupid. And then the third time I watched it, I was like, maybe I'm just slightly stupid. And then the fourth time I watched it, I realized I'm super stupid, but I started to understand it and actually even like it. And then the fourth time, I'm like, this is amazing. This is peak. This is awesome. And that was like a couple days ago, and I don't understand things again. It's already fallen out of my brain. This is the most confusing movie I've ever seen, but at one point I understood it. So that's a win.
All right, Corey. So first up, Corey, did you watch it on your phone?
Okay, I watched it on 3 devices. Okay, I watched it on my phone. I watched it on my computer, and then I watched it on the TV. I did, and I even told my wife, I was like, they're gonna make fun of me because she walked in on me with my phone, holding it like this close. I literally had my phone like this at my face, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm watching Tenet." Anyway, so here's the thing. I think Christopher Nolan watched Inception and all the conversation and then said, hey, that's great. Let's make the next one harder. Okay. Because that's too easy. So he took it personally that people figured out Inception. And so this movie is bold. I love it. It is. I still am struggling with it. I've watched it 2 times. I think I understand what's going on. kind of do. I honestly, I don't think I could work for Tenet because I can't grasp it as quick as he did. He picked it up so quick. But I think this movie is one of those that is good and confusing the first time and then gets better the more you watch it, which doggone you, Christopher Nolan. How dare you? This is what you do. You make a 2.5 hour movie, which is his trademark, 2.5 hours. Let him cook, Justin. But then you make a movie now. This time I have to watch it with subtitles so I can figure out what's going on. As there's subtitles on, you kind of pick up a few more things. I don't know what's with the audio, but it's like if I get the subtitles, I hear it clearer and I see it and I better. But then it made more sense. So I think it's a great movie. I love the time
sound
travel
mixing
part.
Was weird.
Yeah.
Intentionally
and
so. But
this was around all that COVID stuff, I think, with some of that. Maybe there's some of the mixing
it came
stuff
out in
got
2020, yeah.
Yeah. So, but the thing about this movie that I think is great, I love sci-fi. I love time travel movies and time loops and paradoxes and things like this. And this movie presents a different view of time travel that we've got before. And it makes my head spin. I still am struggling with a few things that we're going to have to talk about. I cannot stand the fact that Neil's dead. I think they need to somehow have changed that. This is where I need to be Back to the Future style, like he gave him a bulletproof vest or something. Something fixed his helmet, something, because I can't grasp the idea that he's dead. He was so great. So the whole movie's good.
Is he dead?
It's a good
though?
movie. It's a doggone good movie. We're gonna have a lot of good discussion. We're gonna get angry about a couple things. He's dead. He took a bullet.
Yeah,
he had to take a bullet for the end.
Yeah.
But when is he dead?
He was inverted at that part.
Say that again, Justin.
No, but I'm saying like he might be dead, but there's other versions of him not dead.
Yeah. We don't know how many there are. There's quite a few.
That's the other question. How many versions of us are out here doing this podcast right now? Because there's a lot of confusion about how many people existed at the same time and were within a proximity of each other. So
I think I counted 7 Neils.
Yeah, and that's just the ones you see.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get into that. But, Corey, I want to just echo what you said about the subtitles. It is so much better experience watching this movie with the subtitles. I think one of the things this movie gets a lot of flack for is that, and I think there actually was a Nolan quote at some point where he was just like, "Nah, it doesn't actually have to make sense," or "I didn't make it to make sense." But I think it does. I've watched it at this point. I watched it 6 or 7 times, and finally, after watching it with subtitles and pausing it repeatedly. Watched it 2 times in succession. I watched it with Justin and watched it another time after that when I took most of my notes. A lot of things are explained in dialogue that I had questions about. It's like they just literally just straight up tell you. I'm like, oh, but it's flying over my head because there's so much going on and I'm just trying to catch up with the visuals and all of the things and some of the editing choices. Like that one conversation where they're just like 3 different locations, which I want to talk about in a little bit. But a lot of it, it's laid out. I firmly believe that this movie makes sense if you watch it multiple times, put the subtitles on. You might have to pause it and just sit with something for a minute, but it all makes sense. It works. It's structurally sound. There's no, in my opinion, there's no plot holes in this movie.
But
I think it might be the most confusing movie of all time, but it holds together.
And I think that ruins it for some people because I think understanding is optional, but paying attention is mandatory. Like you have to pay attention in this movie. Like you can't just kind of pop in and pop out. I'm going to be on my phone and then I'm going to, what happened?
No.
What? Oh, no. You have to pay attention in this movie if you want to understand it. Otherwise, you're going to be one of the people who says, I have no grasp and understanding of what took place because there's there's so much detail he puts in there. It's a spy movie that's wrapped up with a physics lecture. Like that's what it is.
Yes. Yeah. Well, before we get into like the nitty gritty stuff, the actual cinematic aspects, one other thing that just kind of bit of trivia a little bit that I saw in my research, and I thought this was amazing, is that part of the inspiration for this, for at least for the name of the movie and some of the structure, is that there's a thing called the Sator Square. Have you guys heard about this? You heard about this? It's an acrostic square. It's like an ancient Latin palindrome thing, and there's 5 names on the Sator Square. Obviously, Sator, the main antagonist. The artist who creates the forged Goya drawings is named Arepo. Arepo is one of the words on there. Tenet is one of the words on there. Opera is one of the words on there, which is what the opening scene is. And then the construction company owned by Sator is Rotas, which is Sator just backwards.
Mm-hmm.
So again, when you look into like how much of this is intentional, all of it.
That's not coincidence. There's writers.
He literally did that on purpose. So
yeah.
So let's dig in. Corey, I'm going to start with you. Cinematography. So composition, color, camera work, some of the things that you noticed about this film.
Craig, you can't just throw it like that because there's so many things in this movie. And I think the obvious thing is to talk about the two directions of time and what he does with the camera. I think watching people move backwards while time moves forward and then inverting that and having time move backwards and people moving forward. It's very bulky watching them trying to figure and sort out how to run and do things. Okay, I'm moving forward, but time's moving backwards, and I am trying to drive a car, and left might not be left, and right's not right, and the wheels are going to squeal, right? He does all that incredible. Close-up shots, pans. I mean, the camera work for this movie holds up. I think will hold up for decades because you can't tell where there's CGI or... I mean, I don't know how he did the two effects together. They're incredible. So cinematography-wise, the backwards and forward motion in the same frame are incredible. I feel like there's a lot of IMAX shots in here, like just some sweeping big views and things that you get. But then there is a ton of chaos, and the camera having to pick all that up and get the viewer to watch. You know, you're especially with the final temporal pincer move where they're battling, you're looking over here watching these guys, and then you're looking over here watching these guys, and you're trying to sweep back and forth and get all of what's taking place. There's so much chaos that you feel immersed in the intentionality. And that battle goes on. That was like a 25-minute battle that we were watching. I mean, it was 10 minutes on their watches, but it was not a 10-minute view for us. And so I felt lost in that. I felt engaged in that. I felt drawn in by it. So it's a good part of the character to have that much chaos. So there you go. I think those are some things I noticed. The effects are incredible. I still don't understand them, but
yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah. So just got to build off what you said about the two directions thing. Just a practical thing that he did early on, which is genius, is if you look at the interrogation scene that happens after the opera house where the protagonist is sitting in between the train tracks. The trains are moving in opposite directions.
Yeah.
Which also, it's like it's a thing we're going to see a lot, but that's like a literal way things are happening that way, which is pretty great. And yeah, like the IMAX thing, like this is another like argument for watching it on physical media, because physical media will show you when it does go to those IMAX shots, because there are some amazing like establishing shots, like the wind farm, like in the water.
Yes.
In Mumbai, it's like that. And then that balcony that they pull away, in that balcony of Sator's mansion overlooking the water. There's so many just gorgeous, looks like a painting shots in this film. Something else that I want to talk, I do want to talk about the color a lot. You mentioned this or alluded to it earlier. That I had, for some reason, didn't really pay attention to on previous viewings. The fact that very clearly red is forward and blue is backwards. Very clearly.
I mean, I know they did that for the battle. Is that for the whole movie then?
Yeah, it's everywhere. I mean, the first time that you see, I think the first time that you see it is when they go into the Freeport in Oslo.
Mm-hmm.
And so the protagonist goes in the left-hand side and Neil goes in on the right-hand side. And there is not a very big one. And like, it's maybe only like 6 inches big, like a 6-inch square. And there's a red on the one side and the blue on the other. So Neil goes in on the red. And the protagonist goes in on the blue side.
You're right.
Blue's, I guess blue's always on the left, and red is on the right. Anytime you see those, when you see the turnstiles,
through some photos of the whole thing, there's a lot of red.
All the turnstiles work the same way.
Okay.
Another thing that I noticed is there's some gold in this, like the coloring. So the first time you see it is in the opera house. And then you also see it in the restaurant where protagonist and and Kat are having dinner. And in both of those cases, it's kind of this peaceful, luxurious thing, and then it's shattered almost immediately. You also see that when they're the protagonist is having dinner at Sator's house. And so I looked at that like it's gilded, right? It's gold on the outside, but it's not safe because immediately after that there's dangers, like the harsh lighting in the kitchen where they take the protagonist in there and then he just beats the snot out of those guys.
Yeah.
So these kind of just brief moments of safety, but it's an illusion.
Yeah.
But you also see it in the oxygen tents when they're traveling backwards in time. So it's definitely signifying safety, but it might be a tenuous one.
Yes. Now, another question I had about some of the cinematography. The airplane was a real plane that they used for this. The explosions were real explosions.
Yeah.
Like Christopher Nolan had just said, let's go practical on this. We're not going to CGI everything. I mean, I'm sure there's some doctrine they're doing in some things, but you read that and you're like, what? You're going with some real stuff here. Let's really crash the 747.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, there's that line. We'll get to the dialogue later in the episode, but you're going to crash the plane. Don't be so dramatic. Not from the air.
Not from the air. Just on the ground. It's easy.
We're going to crash a real plane. It's totally fine.
I think that's probably a line that they were talking about when they were having meetings about making the movie. You're going to crash a plane? Oh, don't be so dramatic.
Seriously. Just a couple other things that I had that I really liked camera work wise. The steady cam running with the protagonist and his team into the opera house, which immediately brings you in. That's also in IMAX too. And it's huge and it's just, oh man, it's so captivating. It's immersive. I really like the extreme high angle as the protagonist is doing those pull-ups in the wind farm tower.
Yes.
Just a cool looking shot. And there's also this great pull in on the Singh's apartment building in it feels very much like the Hong Kong sequence in The Dark Knight. Like he's kind of aping himself a little bit.
Yeah.
And just that the way they scale the
building,
the apartment building.
Oh my gosh.
You have this extreme low angle below them, and then it's this extreme high angle, and then this wide shot of them running up the side of the building.
Yes.
Just brilliant. And so many, like visually, this movie is just fantastic.
Yeah. He does an incredible job. I'm gonna say I told you that Interstellar was best movie for me for Christopher Nolan. I cannot tell if this movie, after watching this a second time, a third time, is this movie a tie or does it beat Interstellar? I can't decide. I mean, it's well done.
I rewatched Interstellar
sound,
again,
cinematography, everything.
Yeah, recently with my kids, and it's such a gorgeous, perfect movie. This just takes more work to get to it, but I think it's worth it. It's very different in that regard. Like that Interstellar has some heady concepts in it, but like you don't have to understand them to enjoy the movie.
Yeah,
this one's like you got to go on this journey with the protagonist, which is interesting, right?
Yep.
Just some other thoughts about camera work in this one. Elizabeth Debicki, who plays Kat, she's like 6'4", huge woman, super tall. And they lean into that. There's some counter shots when they're having early conversations, and like they don't shy away from the fact that she's towering over him, which I thought was really interesting. Like they could have just gone straight across.
How tall is she?
But it's like, look that up because he's not a huge man. So it's like we might have lost Justin. He's going to keep trying.
Oh no. He should have saw if he was going to come out the backside of the turnstile for this episode. That's the thing.
He didn't check.
You were not in the mirror, Justin. I'm just telling you, the window showed you not coming out.
Yeah.
He's gone.
So I'll just keep going. There's a couple other things.
She's 6'2".
She's only 6'2". She must have been in heels then too.
Well, that too, yeah.
She's very tall. See if you can find out how tall John David Washington is.
John David Washington. John David.
The bird's eye view in the Talon Highway heist, where you kind of see the pieces pulling into place.
He's only 5'9".
Pretty great. Well, there you go. 5'9".
5'9".
Yeah, that whole Talon car chase is amazing. First person point of view inside the cars. Also, I always love that stuff.
And the way the stuff moves in the back seat as it bounces from box. I mean,
yeah.
And I understand this idea, like, oh, you just film it going forward and then you just reverse the film. It's more than that. It's more than that, because I feel like when you, at the same time you're doing that, that becomes very hokey as a practical effect. And I feel at times he has time reversing while parts around are not. And it doesn't look hokey. It doesn't look like I just reversed the thing. It comes off very well. So, you know, it wasn't just quite as simple as that, especially if you've got actors and everybody who have to be moving forward in those moments. So,
yeah. Anything else for the visuals before we get on to the music and sound and stuff?
No, the music and sound.
Okay.
Well, I guess let's talk cinematography though. One more part.
Yeah.
Is, I mean, because it kind of brings up, okay, if I'm going to think visuals, what are some visuals that are in the story that made me puzzle? And I didn't understand the notion with this mirror, right? I get it. You see yourself go in, you see yourself
the viewing
come out.
window, yeah. It's not a mirror.
Okay. Yeah, the window thing.
Yeah.
It's just to see that you have to see yourself going out the other side, right?
Yes.
Okay, for the battle, people that are going inverted, if they die, they don't see themselves coming out? Like if I know I'm going to die on the other side in the battle, does that mean, or is it just that one moment, like you see yourself go in?
It's just that one moment that
you have no idea how the mission's going to go. No. You are just for that moment seeing yourself.
No, because you're engaging with the environment from your perspective in a forward way. It's just to the outside observer you appear to be
and the
moving
fact
backwards.
Because Ives tells him that, I would have liked to have seen it happen once. Like somebody went in and didn't come out. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would have liked, because you put that in it's one of those foreshadows that happen in movies, right? You put this idea in my head, I want to see it play out.
Yeah.
You know, and so I was expecting that to happen, but
yeah.
That's
a good point. I think mainly they just wanted it there. It's some kind of reason why we could see people interacting.
Yeah.
Both ways, because like you have the interrogation scene with Sater holding Kat at gunpoint, and that's happening. I don't even earlier.
Yeah.
I think that was happening earlier than on his side. It was happening earlier than the other side of the conversation. Yeah, I think that would be the way that works. But I didn't even notice the color before this time watching it. That's you're looking at it from that perspective. You're seeing the red side or the blue side. Yeah, I need to see it again. It's like Justin said too. Like while I was watching it, I could contain it all in my brain, and then after I'm done, it starts to leak out.
It's mush. It's temporal effects. They wear off.
Yes.
All right.
Let's talk sound. Reverse gunshots, reverse explosions, lots of reverse stuff. Just freaking cool. Some dialogue played backwards.
The dialogue part was great because he said, "What language is the?" I thought you spoke Estonia. Was it he said?
Yeah.
And then he goes, "That's not Estonia. That's backwards."
Yeah.
I was like, oh. I guess Craig, the thing that I stand out most in the note that I wrote down for sound is this movie would have been incredible to see in the theaters. I don't think I watched it there.
It was rare. I know. I took Jaden. We went. Yeah. There was hardly anybody there.
If it was ever re-released, I would go.
Yeah.
But I think this is if you're going to watch it at home, which is where most people would view this movie now, you have to have subtitles. You have to put those on for your sound. There's just no.
You should. Yeah.
There's no way. That's not an option. And I think that would be my comment about the sound. But you just have to. So.
Yeah.
There's some intensity with the sound that I wrote down about when they crashed the airplane and they had 10 seconds in that room, just the way there were some muffles in the sound right in there as they were holding their breath and going from one to the next, those two rooms. That muffling was intense for me. I liked it. It kind of made me feel, it's almost like I'm holding my breath with it. Like, oh my gosh, you're holding it and it sounds different. It did not have the same sound as normal time, So I liked that part and it picked up on it watching that. What about you?
I mean, for me, the biggest thing is that we don't have Hans Zimmer for the first time in a while. Like this is we won't get Hans Zimmer again. with Nolan. So Ludwig Göransson comes in. Hans Zimmer leaves to go do Dune for Denis Villeneuve, and Göransson comes in and just it maybe raises the bar. It's at least as good as what Hans Zimmer has been doing. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of things I really, really liked they did. I mean, there's a kind of the pulse or tick motif. It's set. Mm-hmm. It almost sounds like a distorted clock or a Geiger counter. You hear it from the beginning of the Opera Siege. The one you really hear is in the Freeport. It's a kind of thing. Freeport's the name of that track. There's also that happens in the sailing scene. Foils is the name of that track, but it's essentially the same. It's exactly the same leitmotif. It also happens in the pincer movement at the end. Just real tense, just moving. This kind of time is a weapon. Time is inevitable. It's this pressure. I mean, it's not as. I don't know if this movie's as tense as Dunkirk is, because Dunkirk just never let go. But those sequences are incredibly intense. And another one that I think even adds to that is that there are certain times where the music's being played backwards. Like you're seeing that at the Oslo airport. You're seeing that when Sater is beating Kat at the turnstile. The highway chase, I think, is the main one that I think of,
yes.
When after the protagonist inverts himself and then is driving while he's inverted, and you can just start hearing these beats that just sounds off, and it
just
should.
Sounds, yeah.
So, just again, no attention to detail, just off the charts in this film. And I just think repeatedly, like the protagonist. I mean, some people are like, that's dumb that he doesn't give him a name, but I think that it works because, in much the same way that Dunkirk was more about the experience than it was the characters, the same kind of thing here. Like he's learning the rules of the world, so are we, and so every little bit like that is pulling us into it as well.
Okay. He learns it faster than anybody else. Like I feel like he picks it up so quick. Like he understands it and he makes mistakes early on, but he kind of is doing it as a testing of it. And okay, I'm going to figure out the rules and do this.
Yeah.
Has no hesitation going and inverting himself for the car chase scene. Yeah. And then even though that costs him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the part. Even though it costs him and he thinks, okay, I may have handed it to him. Which we'll get to that. We'll get to some of the quotes and things, but yeah.
Yeah. Anything else for sound before we move on down to?
I would point out, like you said, just some of the inverted bullet shots and hits, and the way things pulled together. It's a sound that would sound normal going forward, but it just sounds so different coming backwards. It's the exact same thing. It's just to hear it in a different direction it's captivating. So they did a good job.
I'm hearing the seagulls in reverse now. That's just stuck in my head. Yeah, the guns, the bullets being caught instead of being fired.
Yeah.
Reverse explosions and stuff. But yeah, performance-wise, again, just top-notch everywhere. Great cast. And again, this John David Washington, we just alluded to briefly, who's Denzel Washington's son, I don't think he'd been the lead in anything. Nothing this high profile. And he's fantastic.
He's incredible.
He's so charismatic. I just immediately I want to see that guy in more stuff.
Yes, I think he does an incredible job. He could definitely carry a movie. He could carry a sequel. He's done a few movies after this, but you got to climb out from under your dad's shadow. I think in Hollywood with some of these things, and with this movie and his performance, and in the spy type genre, he does an incredible job. It could be a leading guy in a lot of things.
Sure. So let's talk about quotes. And since Justin's not here right now, we'll save him a little bit because we'll talk about quotes when we come back in a little bit. We're gonna split this in half. We're gonna dig in. And I think our second episode is probably gonna be a little bit more in depth when it comes to the timeline. Because I think when we get to world building, we really need to break down the days and how few of them there actually are in this. So quotes, Corey. I think this is a pretty quotable movie. You have some things that you liked. Okay, Corey. I think you might be muted again. There you go.
I bumped it with my nose. I kind of watched the replay. I think this movie's tremendously quotable, and I think there's some great lines and thicker lines. So I'm going to go with my first one, Craig. Here we go.
Yep.
This is, and I guarantee you I'm taking this off yours or Justin's list because I know you have it. What's happened, happened. And I love that quote because it comes up several times. It's fatalistic, right? Well, what's happened, happened. And so you just accept it and move on. You just accept that you can't change it. Now, when you're making a time travel movie, your whole notion in your mind and everything is, well, now can I make changes, right, with time travel movies? And then to see him go back, he fights himself at the airport. He does nothing in changing that. Yeah, twice. One side, this side, and then the next side, he's on the other side. But every single detail was exactly the same. You can't change it. And if you changed it, well, how's that going to factor out? And so, I guess that leads to a lot of things, questions about changes and paradoxes, but
a lot of bootstrap paradox in this.
Oh, who invented it? No, this stuff invented itself. There's no because the theory that he's the one who gave himself the mission for the opera. He set all this and orchestrated all this up for himself. So that it leads him to here. Okay, then Tenet invented itself. This algorithm took care of itself. So I don't know. There's a ton of questions. I need a sequel.
This movie's its own sequel.
Oh, well, yeah, forwards and back. No, I need a 50 years from now. What happened? Like, Neil grows up, and
I'd do a comic book, maybe. I don't even know the movie. All right, here's my first quote.
Okay.
Sater says to the protagonist, "How would you like to die?" He says, "Old." He says, "You chose the wrong profession."
That was a good one. I like that.
And Brana doesn't usually play the bad guy, but I think he's great in this.
Yeah. All right, here we go. My second one, and this, the first time I watched this, I was assuming that Neil and the protagonist were partners at different ends of time. And this dialogue here is when I actually picked it up the first time I saw it, before I knew all the stuff that was going on. When he says the policy is to suppress, and he goes, "Whose policy?" And Neil says, "Our policy." And I was like, that is a nice little hint to apply to the plot. And it kind of, there's a little dialogue mix here that I'm on one end of this where we've talked about this policy, and you're on this end where you're whose policy. So it was a great line. I love that part. I think I texted that to you when I was watching that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, that line came back up.
That's fun. I'm going to pick my next one. I'm going to pick an exchange with the protagonist and Michael Crosby, as played by Michael Caine, who's continues his streak of being in Christopher Nolan movies. Only has one scene, but he's incredibly memorable in it. And when we get into the timeline thing, he actually has some pretty important information for him.
Yes.
But we'll save that for next time. But the exchange about the suit. He says, "Look, no offense, but in this world where someone's claiming to be a billionaire, Brooks Brothers won't cut it." The protagonist says, "I'm assuming I'm on a budget. Save the world, then we'll balance the books. Can I recommend a tailor?" And he says, "I'll manage. You British don't have a monopoly on snobbery, you know." He says, "Well, not a monopoly, more of a controlling interest."
Yeah. That whole thing.
A British filmmaker saying this.
That is
like, oh yeah, Nolan's British. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And to have Michael Caine say it with just his perfect little
glint.
Dirty, rotten scoundrel. I love that guy. You know? Well, okay. Are we saving some for Justin, or are we?
Oh no, let's keep going. We got a few minutes. Let's do one more and then we'll wrap.
All right. Well, the other one, and this is the one that brings a tear to my eye. This is the end of a beautiful friendship. And I that's an emotional gut punch, because in my mind, I watched Neil walk off knowing he's going to die. Mm-hmm. He has to. He's sacrificing himself. That's what he was there. Yeah. And I'm like, no. Change it. Change the time. See what happens. Fix it. Change it. You got time travel. We don't have to do this, but he has to. And it's a perfect intro, outro quote, especially, when it leads to the end for me and the beginning for you.
Yeah.
We get up to some stuff.
He is great. Robert Pattinson is great in this movie.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, I was not a fan of him. I was not big on this Twilight back then and all that came out. And so in my head, I typecast him as a character, as an actor that I would not want to watch in a movie.
Yeah.
He was incredible in The Batman, and I think he's incredible in this movie to where I'm like, okay, Robert Pattinson is a downright good actor and worth watching. So,
yeah. Well, what I think is, just sidebar before I do my last quote, is that did you saw Goblet of Fire, right? Harry Potter 4? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Cedric
Did
Diggory.
you know that there's not one but two Triwizard champions in this movie? Because he's Cedric Diggory, but the scientist, Barbara, the scientist, is, I'm going to say her name probably wrong, Clemence Posey?
She's Fleur.
That's Fleur Delacour. I saw her immediately. Like, Fleur's in this. I know. So I was like, oh.
You can't trust him. Yeah.
I mean, there is one of the theories that she's the scientist they're talking about who comes up with the
She
algorithm.
is. She's the only scientist in the entire movie. I figure she's the one who creates
she's
and
a woman,
discovers
and
the
mentioned that
algorithm.
it's a woman, so
Yeah, it's her. Yeah. Are we surprised by that, or is that hidden? Some people don't think that.
I mean, there's a lot of things in this one, and we'll just go ahead and say it now, Corey. Neil is not Kat's son.
Oh, no. You don't get to pull that card on me. No. This son is so important in this whole movie.
He's not.
And an emotional weight, okay, for
he's
Kat.
not.
So he's Neil. Maximilian,
I know.
Liam at the end of Maximilian, inverted,
non-traditional spelling
and it's
of
Neil.
Maximilian.
We all know it. You can't accept. Christopher Nolan hides things like this. He doesn't explain anymore after Memento.
Yeah. That's all you got.
So there you go.
Just the name that you could be. It's an anagram if you chop off part of it.
You look at that little boy's hair at the end. It's his hair. It's the exact haircut, hairstyle, everything. He's the right age to be this.
We don't know how old Neil is or when he was born. Any idea?
It's from 50 years in the future or whatever. Just telling you.
We're gonna dig in. We're gonna get up to some stuff in the next episode.
Oh, we are gonna get up to some stuff. We get up to some stuff.
Yeah.
And Craig, I'm offended by this. This is the end of a beautiful friendship, Craig. This is it. This is how you end it.
Here's my last quote, and then we'll get out of here, because I think this one's very meta. The protagonist says, "This reversing the flow of time, doesn't us being here now mean it never happened? Could we stop them?" Neil says, "Optimistically, I'd say that's right. Pessimistically," says the protagonist, he says, "in a parallel worlds theory, we can't know the relationship between consciousness and multiple realities. Does your head hurt? Does your head hurt yet? Try to get some sleep." This is Nolan going, "Don't worry about it."
This is Nolan talking to the audience, is what that is. Yeah. Does your head hurt yet? I don't think about it. Don't worry. You're not going to figure it out.
Like you said.
Yeah. Push you down the stairs and say, "Yep, feel it. Feel it."
Yeah. All right. We're going to dig into some more stuff. I get up to some stuff a lot more in the next episode because this movie is so dense. We were never going to do this in one episode anyway, and we want to make sure Justin's here to contribute what he has, his notes and whatnot too. So we want to give you guys also a chance to share if you have a favorite quote from Tenet with us. So be sure to do that. So as we close, we just want to say thank you so much for listening. If you want to connect with us, you can find us on X, Instagram, Facebook. Email us at readingbetweenreels@gmail.com. We'll use the Speak Pipe app on our website. And if you enjoyed the show, please like, follow, subscribe. Be sure to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. And as I said, our next episode will be the conclusion of our breakdown of Tenet. Send us an email or voicemail about your favorite quotes from Tenet, and we'll share it on the next episode.